Good afternoon and welcome to the 2021 Local Elections Candidate Forum sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Amarillo. I'm Sonia Letson, President of the Amarillo League. This forum is being produced and co-sponsored by Panhandle PBS, and through their technical expertise, we are able to bring you candidates in 11 different contested races presented over 2 days, April 11th and April 18th. On the 11th, we will present candidates for the city elections in Amarillo and Canyon. And on April 18th, we will present races for the Amarillo College Board of Regents and the boards of trustees for 3 different school districts, Amarillo ISD, Canyon ISD, and River Road ISD. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization which operates at the national, state, and local levels. There are over 700 local leagues around the country. The League of Women Voters of the United States and the League of Texas are both over 100 years old. The Amarillo League is over 70 years old. Our volunteers have been working for voting rights and helping to educate voters for a century, even before women gained the right to vote. On behalf of our members and supporters, we are so pleased to be able to present this forum to our community. The League does not endorse or oppose candidates or parties. We encourage informed and active participation in government at all levels, and we seek to register, educate, and motivate every citizen to vote. We believe that our democracy works best and our republic is stronger when everyone participates, and that voting should not be difficult. Voting should be easy and convenient. We know that voters prefer to cast an informed ballot, and so we educate voters through forums like this one, and also through our Voters Guide. The guide is now available at public libraries, community centers, retirement communities, and many businesses in Amarillo and Canyon. You can also use the League's online Voters Guide, vote411.org, to create and print your own personalized ballot. Vote 411 has the candidate information found in the printed guide, but you can also use it to link to candidate emails and websites. Remember, you cannot use your cell phone in the polling place, but you can take a voter's guide or other paper list so you can remember your choices. And as you will see tonight, there are many races on the ballot. So study the races and issues, decide how you want to vote, then take your list or voter's guide with you. Early voting begins on Monday, April 19th and runs the whole week until Friday, April 23rd, then resumes on Monday and Tuesday, April 26th and 27th. Election day is Saturday, May 1st. We encourage you to vote early if you can. You will find a list of polling places and times in the voter's guide, or you can link to them on Vote 411 or by going to your county election administrator's website. For answers to questions about voting by mail, hand delivering a mail ballot, curbside voting, what to take to the polls as ID, and many other topics, see the voter's guide or call your election administrator. And don't forget, when you go to vote, thank the election workers. They make it possible for us to exercise our right to vote. Our 2 forums on the 11th and 18th have been organized by the League's Director of Forums, Linda Vaughn, and will be moderated by 3 capable women. Karen Welch, Senior Content Producer at KACV, will moderate the forum for the City of Amarillo and City of Canyon. Jill Gibson, Chair of Mass Communication at Amarillo College, will moderate our forum for school board candidates, and Leanne Cossey Overstreet, Public Information Officer for the Randall County Sheriff's Department, will moderate our forum featuring candidates for the Amarillo College Board of Regents. Thank you all for joining us and for educating yourself about this election. I will now turn the program over to our moderators.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our candidates and welcome to those of you watching this forum. I am Karen Welch. I'm Senior Content Producer for Panhandle PBS, and we are excited again to partner with the Amarillo League of Women Voters to bring residents of Amarillo and Canyon information about candidates they will see on the ballot in their May election. This forum focuses on elections for the Amarillo City Council and Canyon City Commission. There are 5 contested races for the Amarillo City Council with 16 candidates on the ballot. In the City of Canyon elections, there is 1 contested race in place 5. Other candidates for the commission are running unopposed. In both cities, mayors and those elected to the council or commission serve 2-year terms. We will start with the City of Amarillo races first. Because we have so many candidates, the time we can spend with each one will be limited. Each candidate will first be asked to give a 1-minute introduction to the audience, describing your background and qualifications and the reasons for seeking office. After the introductions, the candidates will be asked a series of questions. Candidates will have 1 minute to answer each question, and I will rotate the order in which the candidates answer so that everyone has a chance to go first. Candidates, please pay attention to the clock on your screen. When it turns red, it's time to stop. Please also do not refer to your opponent or opponents in your comments. Also, please keep your remarks short and appropriate for general audiences. If a candidate has declined our invitation to appear, I will advise the audience of any reason that was given. It's also possible they may have had an emergency or simply technical difficulties and be unable to join us as planned. We will hear from a candidate in a contested race, even if no opponent appears. After the contested race for the Canyon City Commissioner Place 5, we will present 1-minute videos from uncontested candidates for the commission. All uncontested candidates were invited to present a 1-minute video outlining their plans for office, and the videos will air at the end of this forum. Those are the general rules, so let's begin. We're starting with the candidates for Mayor of Amarillo. The candidates in alphabetical order are Michael Hunt, Carl Karras, Ginger Nelson, and Claudette Smith. Michael Hunt had an unexpected event come up, so we have the 3 of you, and we will start with introductions. Mr. Karras, please take a minute to introduce yourself.
Yes, I've been in Amarillo for 4 years. I looked far and wide across Texas and decided to settle here. I'm 63. I've been an architect for 30 plus years, 20 of those in New York City. I've done a wide variety of things in the last 10 years after the economic downturn. I've driven in the oil fields. When I was living in Odessa, I drove a school bus for KIPP schools in East Austin. And in the last 5 years, I've been helping to raise 5 daughters with my wife, who I met in East Austin.
Thank you, Mr. Karras. Ms. Nelson?
I'm Ginger Nelson, and for the last 4 years, I've had the privilege of serving as mayor of Amarillo. My husband, Kevin, and I grew up in Spearman. I'm a lifelong resident of the Texas Panhandle. I have a law degree and have practiced law in Amarillo for the last 25 years. I also have a Spanish degree, and I use that often in serving in my role as mayor. In the last 4 years, the City Council has increased the budget for public safety and also increased the budget that we use for road repair. We've kept our tax rate low, and in the cities, 10 cities larger than Amarillo, 10 cities smaller than Amarillo, Amarillo has the second lowest tax rate. Even in the last year, we've accomplished good things for our city. We have led our nation in vaccine rollout with our vaccine clinic, and we've landed several large economic development projects like the Texas Tech Vet School and Amazon. And I look forward to hopefully getting your support for vote in this city's election.
And Ms. Smith, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Claudette Smith, and I am running for mayor of Amarillo. I am a lifelong resident of Amarillo. I wasn't born here, but I moved here at about age 5, so I consider that lifelong. I'm a strong Christian conservative, and I'm just a small town Texas girl. I'm a local business owner. I was a paralegal for about 5 years, and prior to that, I worked in the insurance industry. I have two wonderful children. I have a teenage son and a 6-year-old daughter. And I'm basically running because, I initially got involved in our local politics, which was some ordinance violations that were affecting me directly. So I started going to the council meetings to try to seek resolve to those issues. But after weeks of attending those meetings with zero resolve, I couldn't help but notice the numerous issues that were occurring in our city. And so ever since, I've just stuck around fighting for everybody else and their issues and kind of put mine on the back burner. And I just feel like I want to step in and try to correct the issues.
Thank you. So for our first question of the evening, what infrastructure improvements do you believe are needed in Amarillo, and would you include improvements to the Civic Center? Please discuss how the city should fund the improvements you recommend. We'll start with Ms. Nelson.
Okay, thank you. I do believe that infrastructure needs to be a priority for moving forward in our city, and I would start first by repairing our roads. We've increased funding in our budget for road repair in the 4 years I've been mayor, and I would continue to look to do that. We also have infrastructure needs in our broadband areas across the city. Many of our citizens don't have access to broadband services. So I would launch a broadband expansion project where every citizen living in the city would have access to broadband and put the infrastructure in place necessary to do that. One way to do that, because we've been proactive and we have that project basically shovel ready, federal dollars are coming available for broadband projects. And so that would be a funding source for that project. As for the Civic Center, we put it in front of voters, and I listened to voters. They said, wait, now's not the right time. So while that project is out there, I think it needs to be studied more as we move forward.
Thank you. Ms. Smith?
Okay, so as far as infrastructure is concerned, I think that I would start obviously with our roads. We have a lot of issues going on with our roads. I believe that we had a bond that was passed in 2016, but those funds have not been used yet, to my understanding. So I think we would need to use those because it's quite some time and the roads haven't been fixed yet. So I would start there. And then I think I would probably like to see a halt to the downtown stuff. I think that it would be okay if we had some type of private investment down there. As far as putting more tax dollars down there at this very moment, I think that we would try to steer away from that and try to make everything equal throughout the city, in all areas of our city, instead of just downtown. Because right now there's a lot of focus on downtown, but sometimes it can't just be the big stuff and it can't just be downtown. We're neglecting a lot of other things around town that I think need to be taken care of, not just downtown.
Thank you. And Mr. Karras?
Yeah, I would start off with a comprehensive city plan. One of the items on that plan would be infrastructure, and of course the convention center would be another. But I would like to see, as part of that, a development, a focus on 10th Avenue and Plains as an east-west high street in the city. And I think we've got room in the trail park for low-cost housing and student housing. For the convention center, I would like to see a renovation of the existing. And I'd like to see a new downtown library as well.
Thank you. Our next question, what steps should the city take to revitalize areas of Amarillo that are not experiencing growth, such as neighborhoods to the north and east? I believe this time we'll start with Claudette Smith.
I think we can start by probably tapping into some of the entrepreneurship and the businesses that we already have here and helping those businesses grow in those areas that are lacking, like you said. I think we need to probably just try to focus a little bit more on that rather than bringing in the big business and creating those Fortune 500 ideas. I think it's important for us to focus on what's right here in our own backyard. I know that there are probably several businesses over there that could certainly use the help and certainly use that hand up kind of boost. I know there's some really nice business owners over there, such as I think it's the North Heights Discount Store and things like that. I just depends on the part of town you're talking about, but I think that you could spread it out evenly and in trying to help these businesses succeed and grow what we have right here for now.
Thank you. Mr. Karras?
Yes, I would like to see a division of the city into 6 single-member districts, and that alone would give those areas that have been neglected some more attention and representation. And I think it's a better way of looking at the city. I will show you, if it's okay, a little map of how I would do that. Roughly. And that's open, of course, to discussion, but I think we're big enough for 6 districts. And the other thing, as far as redevelopment of those areas, I'd like to see some infill housing, community development style, a little more focus on that.
Thank you. And turning now to Ms. Nelson.
I would start by keeping our taxes low. With low taxes, those existing small business owners can better manage expanding their businesses. And I would continue to support our neighborhood plans where the city planning department provides planning services and cooperates with neighbors to hear what neighbors want in their city. I think the last thing city council wants to do is show up and tell neighbors what they need in their neighborhood. We need to listen to them and hear what they want in their neighborhood and partner to see that happen. I think it's important to have relationships outside of the city. For instance, St. Anthony's old hospital campus is currently being redeveloped for low-income housing, and that's going to revitalize the North Heights neighborhood. And relationships that I have with people across the state are really important to bringing projects like that combine public and private partnership dollars to make projects happen that revitalize neighborhoods. So I think we have a lot of potential to do that across the city.
Thank you. The final question for our mayoral candidates: name 1 or more areas of service of the city that you think the city is doing well, and name an area that you would like to see improve. We'll start again with Mr. Karras.
One thing that's worked out very well is the city health department's rollout of the vaccine. There's no denying that. On the other hand, I think just as an example, that we could have reached out into the east and north areas with vans and so on to get people, bring some of that vaccine right to those areas. But I really think we could see more development in the north side and the east side.
Thank you. Ms. Nelson?
Yes, I think our vaccine clinic has been phenomenal, and not just in the effectiveness of getting people through there as quickly as possible, but the level of customer service that we've provided to give those vaccines to people, I think has been first class. It's been an example. Other cities have implemented our same model. And actually, I had a conversation today about taking those clinics mobile across the city. So that will be rolling out soon, I hope, maybe in the next 4 to 6 weeks. I think an area we need to improve is offering a broadband option and providing that for citizens who can't afford it, or we just don't have the infrastructure in our city from private businesses to give it to them. And I think we also need to see our building and permitting planning department improve their customer service and their timetables for working with people who want to do business in our city.
Thank you. And finally, Ms. Smith?
So yeah, I think that we could improve on our tax rate, I think, on our spending, the fiscal responsibility end of things. I think that there's, in my opinion, a lot of progressive type spending at City Hall on items that are not the role of city government. And I feel that there's a lack of transparency. And I feel that if we are able to reduce that waste and scrutinize the budget and stop spending money on items that are not the role of city government, we'd be a lot better off. And then we can fix a lot of these other issues that we're having within our city. As far as the vaccine clinic is concerned, although it appears to be running like a well-oiled machine, I disagree with a lot of it. It's the fact that there's a lot of people from Mexico coming in on planes, at least 300 people a day that are rolling into our civic centers and staying at our hotels and using our hotel addresses and things like that. To get the vaccine, they don't have to show an ID, and that's a problem for me because how are we tracking them? Are they staying? Are they leaving? We don't know.
Thank you. And candidates, thank you for joining us for this forum. We appreciate it, and thank you for your time.
My name is Michael Hunt, and I want to be your next mayor of Amarillo. I'm not a politician. I'm a husband, a small business owner, and an educator. I'm running for mayor not just to serve you, but to represent you. Through my experience as a teacher and a caterer, I have met citizens from all over Amarillo and am familiar with all the issues facing the community. Amarillo needs a change, and I'm ready to restore transparency and accountability to our local government. I want to represent the best interests of all residents of Amarillo and be a leader you can trust. You will know what and why decisions are being made. I'll always back the blue and make sure our first responders have support and resources they need to keep Amarillo safe. I will work to support local businesses and look for ways to attract new businesses to boost our economy. If you're tired of business as usual at City Hall, please join me. Let's fix Amarillo together.
We turn now to candidates for Amarillo City Council Place 1. Our candidates are Hobart Gunny Brown, Cole Stanley, and Jason Tillery. Welcome, candidates.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will start first with 1-minute introductions. We will begin with Mr. Brown.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Hobart Gunny Brown. I'm a lifelong Texan. 80 miles down the road, Delhart, Texas, where I was raised. In 1984, I left Texas and joined the United States Marine Corps, where I served until 2004. Shortly after that, I became a federal government employee, which I have been doing ever since. So the last 37 years of my life has been to service to this country. And since 2007, well, really 2004, after my retirement from the Marine Corps, that's all I've been doing is I've been serving. VFW, I lost my train of thought. VFW, the good old NAACP, and Military Order of Purple Heart, where I've been an officer at the local and state level, both of them. And I'm looking forward to being your next city council person.
Thank you. Mr. Stanley.
Good evening. My name is Cole Stanley. I am a proud Amarillo Texan. I was born and raised here. Went to Gene Howe Elementary, Valley View Junior High when it existed, and then Randall High School. Right out of high school, we started our first business, and I've been a small businessman ever since. So I'm 42 years old. I've been married 20 years to my high school sweetheart. We have two beautiful daughters. One's 20, the other one's 16. So I have the privilege of enjoying WT as a college right down the road. My daughter there's a sophomore, and then my youngest daughter goes to San Jacinto Christian Academy. She's a sophomore as well, and so Lately, I've been a traveling volleyball dad and trying to put together a campaign as a rookie and put a few signs out and still run a business. And so I'm learning a whole lot. I'm enjoying myself, and I'm looking forward to this race.
Thank you very much. Mr. Tillery.
Yes, good evening. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate the opportunity. I was born and raised in Fort Worth, native Texan. I joined the United States Navy in 1999. I moved to Amarillo initially in 2009 and served in Amarillo for 3 years until 2012. Then I moved to California, where I deployed with Marines in 2013, 14, and 2016. My kids stayed here with my first wife. Along the way, I got remarried. I have a blended family. We have 7 kids total. Moved back here in July of 2019 when I retired. So for 20 years, I served our country and moved back here and decided I wanted to serve my community. I always knew that when I moved to Amarillo 12 years ago, I always knew this would be home. I just want to serve and give something back to our community and make it a better place. This is a great city with a lot of opportunities, great people, and it's time to get off the sidelines and get in the game. So that's why I'm running.
Thank you, gentlemen. Your first question, what actions, if any, do you believe are needed to address the economic impact to the city caused by the pandemic? We'll start with Mr. Stanley.
I think that we do need to continue to focus on local small business. I think that one thing that would be a great help would be to clarify maybe our etiquette from one neighbor to the next as it relates to wearing a mask in and out of businesses, what you should or shouldn't be doing around town. Are we still doing one thing or are we not? I would like to see a little bit more clarification on that. And then as we continue to open up, just more involvement in getting people back to life as normal and social interactions and being back out in the community and enjoying the good neighbors that we have. I think we can help to incentivize that by just promoting good common sense and just taking care of each other and enjoying the pretty spring weather that we've got coming down the road.
Thank you. Turning now to Mr. Tillery.
Yes, ma'am. I would like exactly what Mr. Stanley said. I would like to incentivize small businesses. I mean, places like Amazon and the Casequay Dairy are great, but we have a lot of entrepreneurs in this town who want to set up small businesses. So let's find ways to incentivize them, whether it's free lease on a property for a year, give them a tax break to help make it easier for them to put funds that they might take from taxes, and they could divert that into new hires or developing a new technology or something so they can market their business. I'd like to work with WT, Amarillo College, and the high schools and their STEM programs and ACAL and offer internship programs so we can get our young entrepreneurs into the workforce to get some real hands-on training and keep that young talent here in Amarillo, vice them when they get out of college or high school, move to Dallas or Austin or San Antonio. Let's keep them here and tap into those entrepreneurs and incentivize them to stay here.
And Mr. Brown?
Right, we're talking about socioeconomics in the North Heights, Hamlet, San Jacinto, East Ridge, and the Barrio neighborhoods. Well, let's take the North Heights neighborhood for instance. Right at North Heights, you have Northside Diner, you have Devon's, you have a barber shop, you have a couple of mom and pop grocery stores there. The major employers you have there is General Dollar. What are those individuals doing for community? General Dollar. They're not putting any money back in the community. They're taking money out of the community. We need to get business that are going to actually put money back into the community. I like the Magic Johnson plan that he has in California. He builds a neighborhood. He only hires people that are within walking distance of that building. So that way he takes away the excuse. And that's what we need. We need business that's going to put money back into the economy.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Sorry, I went over.
Thank you. Next question. What steps should the city take to revitalize areas of Amarillo that are not experiencing growth, such as those neighborhoods to the north and east? We'll start with Mr. Tillery.
Well, I think one of the first things that you have to do is look at the infrastructure in those neighborhoods. You have a lot of those neighborhoods, the streets are old, the alleys aren't paved, there's no sidewalks. So walking anywhere in those neighborhoods is going to be dangerous for people walking to work. The public transit isn't great out there. We need to first look at our infrastructure, improve walkability in those neighborhoods, improve lighting in those neighborhoods. So if people are walking back from work or school in the dark, at night, or early in the morning, it's safe. Then we need to look at finding ways to incentivize entrepreneurs to move into those neighborhoods. Again, it goes back to what I was saying about offering tax incentives, offering free, a deduction on their lease or something of that nature, and find ways to get people into those communities. And I agree with what Mr. Brown said about Magic Johnson's plan. Hire people from those neighborhoods who have a vested interest. They have skin in the game. Work with civic leaders in that area and get those communities going again.
Mr. Brown?
Well, first thing, like I said before, about you have to have, I take Mr. Tillery's words, you have to have skin in the game. We have the NAACP out there. We have the Black Momentum. We have numerous organizations within these neighborhoods, Lost Barrows, East Ridge, and everything. We have to build up the morale, the self-confidence of some of those individuals, of those neighborhoods. You have generations of individuals who have been on not substance abuse, but the word I'm trying to use is substance assistance, welfare and whatnot. And they trapped in this cycle. We have to find some way to motivate them. Just like in my plan, it says nothing about rebuilding a neighborhood. It says re-energizing a neighborhood. And we need individuals who are leaders within this town to go into the neighborhood. And I hate to use the word from not Ronnie Jackson, but Reverend Jackson. You are somebody.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna go over again.
Mr. Stanley, it's your turn.
I'm not giving you any of my seconds there, Gunny. So I would probably focus on it in two ways. I would look inward to what's already there. And I would love to take some existing buildings and dwellings, commercial property, make it a little easier and streamline the city building process to allow for investors to come in to update and upgrade those facilities, perhaps with some leniency on some efficiency codes and standards to make the investments work. And being able to take those buildings as needed, not necessarily as the entirety of whatever the master plan would have to be. I think that goes a long way. The other thing that I think would be really good, I love sports and competition. And the east and the north side of town are some of the prettiest sides of town. I would love to see a privately owned, privately for-profit, large sporting complex come to town that would be able to have all sorts of youth and sporting events, not on the professional side, but just youth local.
Okay. So the fourth and final question, what do you think is the single biggest problem facing the city and how would you address it? We'll start with Mr. Brown.
Well, the single biggest problem in Amarillo, when you take away all the tangible things, there's such as infrastructure and whatnot, is the city and the city government has a major disconnect. Now that major disconnect is trust. So we have to build back the trust. You know, us as civic leaders, that is our job, is to hold the public best interest at hand. So the only way we're going to do that is, you know, like Mr. Stanley saying, build those sporting events. We're going to have to be out there. We're going to have to, you know, show up for football games. We're going to have to volunteer and stuff. It's going to be a labor of love, and that's what we're going to have to do. We cannot, you know, show favoritism to one side of the town or allege favoritism to one side of town. We're going to have to be out there shaking hands and kissing babies.
Thank you. Mr. Stanley, the single biggest problem facing the city?
You know, I do feel that one of our biggest issues, despite, you know, whatever aspect you're looking at, is we do have a little bit of a reputation from our city processes of being very unfriendly and very unwelcoming. And so when we are inviting growth, when we're inviting businesses from out of town to come here, when we're trying to promote, convention, tourism, travel, 6th Street where I office, if we would do a better job of advertising and marketing our town for what it really is. We live around and amongst some of the best people on the face of the earth. And so what you love about Amarillo is us, the people here. And so marketing could go a long way in helping that. And then through that, we've got to do more than just talk the talk. We really need to change our culture. And we need to do that by changing our mentality, the way our city processes view the common citizens. And when we realize we're all on the same team, we view each other as teammates, we develop that trust that Gunny's talking about.
Thank you. And finally, Mr. Tillery.
Yes, Amarillo is continuing to grow. We are continuing to diversify with, so many different races and different cultural backgrounds coming into our city. When I was in the military, I had the pleasure of serving with so many different men and women of such a diverse background. And I know Gunny did too as well in the Marine Corps. That made me a richer and a wiser man. And we can look at our diversity in Amarillo and get out into the community. And this is why I think that we should really start looking at going into a single member district system, so we get more voter representation from the different diverse neighborhoods in the city. And once we tap into those tools and talents and those in our diversity, we will realize that diversity is not a bad thing. Diversity makes us stronger, it makes us better. And once we have more voters and more ideas and mindsets getting involved in the voting process and in developing our city, we can achieve great things that we can't even fathom right now. So I really want to reach more people in the city.
Thank you. And thank you, gentlemen, for participating in today's forum. Joining us now are candidates for Amarillo City Council Place 2. The candidates for that race are Jason Fogelsong, Frida Powell, and Joe West. Mr. Fogelsong was unable to join us for the forum, but we have Frida Powell and Joe West. Candidates, we'll start with 1-minute introductions. Ms. Powell, you are first.
Thank you, Karen. I appreciate you having us tonight. I was born in Amarillo on the Air Force Base, and from there, my father was transferred to Fairbanks, Alaska. I grew up in the United States, and my father always told me the best way to cure racism is to travel. And so we moved all the time. I have a degree in management, and let me just revert back for a minute. I graduated from Amarillo High School, and I have a degree in management. And then I've been married to Dennis for 43 years. We have a wonderful daughter, and we also have 4 wonderful grandchildren. And then I have also worked for some major companies such as Southwestern Public Service Company, XL Energy, Bell Textron, BP America Production Company, and also Lynn Energy. So, and I've served on lots of for-profit and nonprofit boards. So I have lots of experience and have spent 30 years in the Amarillo community building relationships.
Thank you. And Mr. West, please introduce yourself.
First off, thank y'all for having us this evening. I grew up in Pampa. I've lived in the Panhandle my whole life. I've lived in Amarillo for the last 12 years. I live in the Bivens area, just off of 10th Street. I work at Amarillo College right now as an administrative assistant, and I also teach people how to ride motorcycles for Amarillo College on the weekends. I've had quite a few jobs in Amarillo, and I do a lot of volunteer work. I do a lot of handyman stuff around town for folks that need it. So I've got a lot of skills that allow me to put my hands to use, and I like digging holes and helping people out with things that they need.
Okay, thank you very much. Your first question, what infrastructure improvements do you believe are needed in Amarillo? Would you include the Civic Center among those, and how would you pay for those improvements? We'll start with Mr. West.
I do think that there are lots of needs for infrastructure improvements, especially in the north side of Amarillo. I've been through those neighborhoods during the day and at night, and I see a lot of things that, just from a safety aspect need to be improved. I know street lights is a big thing that I'm trying to promote. I'm also trying to talk to folks about repairing their streets up there. But I also want to do things like add sidewalks, update the sewage systems in areas that, historically have kind of been ignored. I do think that the Civic Center does need to be updated. But I think with the last bond election that Amarillo spoke that now wasn't the right time. I do think we need to look at that and see if there's a way we can do that in the future. But I do think we need to take care of the folks that have historically been neglected in Amarillo first.
Thank you. And Ms. Powell?
Yes, I do think that we need to focus on infrastructure all over our city, because there are some neighborhoods where we need to implement the infrastructure and others where we need to repair or improve. Certainly look at broadband. In the midst of COVID, we realized that our kids going to school didn't have access to internet. So if we can implement broadband where it's free for everyone throughout our entire city, that's something we need to look at. As far as the Civic Center is concerned, yes, the voters did speak. They said in the midst of COVID, now is not the time. But we do have a committee that's looking at that project again. And so we're trying to look for public and private funding for the Civic Center. It is more than 50 years old. We need to update it, improve it, because that's another stream of revenue for our city. And also, I just want our citizens to have some of the amenities that other cities have instead of having to travel for concerts. I want them to be able to do that here, right here in our own city.
Thank you. Next question. What would you include in the long-term strategic plan for the city? Ms. Powell, you're first.
Thank you. First of all, I want to continue to look at the different neighborhoods. We have 4 neighborhood plans that we've already implemented and started, and that would be the North Heights, the Barrio, the San Jacinto, and East Ridge just came online in January of 2021, and so that's virtual. But we need to let those associations drive what they want for those neighborhoods. Yes, they do need sidewalks. Yes, we need streets repaired. Yes. There's a lot of things that we need to look at. We've got lots of growth going on now, so I hope that we can continue to renovate and have senior housing, affordable senior housing for the St. Anthony's property. We have the Linen Service property that's coming online in the North Heights neighborhood. And again, remember the other neighborhoods as well are driving what they want to see for those neighborhoods, but continue to focus on bringing in businesses, bringing in affordable jobs.
Mr. West, what would you include in the long-term strategic plan for Amarillo?
My long-term strategic plan for Amarillo, right now, one of my big focuses, something that we can start implementing now and begin implementing or continue implementing for the future, is I want to put some actual money behind the neighborhood committees. I want to talk to them. I want to see what they need in their neighborhoods, do asset maps, see where the shortcomings are, and see where the dollars are flowing from those neighborhoods, and try to reverse that. If dollars are made in those neighborhoods, I think they should be spent in those neighborhoods. And I think we need to focus on bringing businesses there, either by incentivizing businesses, helping entrepreneurs that want to open up businesses there, and doing our best to promote growth in that area of the city where it's most needed, I think.
Thank you. And Ms. Powell, the final question goes first to you. What services do you believe the city does a good job of providing, and where do you think the city could improve?
Well, obviously, we're doing a very good job right now on the COVID vaccination clinic. That is, we are classified as a hub, so everyone, no matter whether they're in the state or out of the state or where they live, they can come to our clinic, be vaccinated. And so I'm very proud of that and how it's set up and how it's being run. It's very, very smooth. The clinic itself, it's close to 2 neighborhoods, and that is the Barrio and the North Heights neighborhood, of course. And then working to implement 311, which means that this will be a one-stop shopping for citizens, so they can call if they have pothole issues, trash issues, just whatever they have or they need help with. And it's a real easy number to remember, but they can call that number And, we're trying to improve that area so they don't have to go through a chain to get to where they need to be.
And Mr. West, what services do you believe the city does a good job of providing, and where do you think it could improve?
I will reiterate, I do love how much of an impact the Civic Center Vaccination Clinic has done for not just our city, but folks around the state and, some folks around the country. I do think we offer a lot of excellent services. I definitely agree that citywide broadband is something that would help both the communities that typically don't have access to that in Amarillo. So I think that's a great thing that we're going to work towards in the future. I do think communicating how to easily access those services could use improvement, and I'm very glad to hear we're doing the 311 program. But I do think the scope of implementation could be updated for things like our transit, for things like our trash cart program, as well as the big item pickup. I do think we need to improve a little bit on that.
Thank you, candidates. We appreciate your time and your participation in the forum. With us now are Amarillo City Council candidates for place 3. We have Eddie Sauer and Tom Sherlin. Thank you for being with us. Mr. Sauer, we'll start with 1 minute introductions, and we will start with you.
Okay, thank you, Karen. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. I'm Eddie Sauer. I've been on City Council for 4 years, considered a great honor to have been able to serve the city of Amarillo. I'm a general dentist here in town. I've been married to my wife, Tina, for 37 years. We have 4 daughters, I've grown up here, went to Canyon High School, graduated from WT, and have spent my life being involved with the city. Just being involved in the city with many different things. I am running for re-election. I'm really passionate about our city. I'm proud of what we've done over the past 4 years, what we've accomplished. Thanks to strong leadership, smart fiscal management, the city of Amarillo is set to be very poised for a great future. There's been a lot of things that we've accomplished, and there's things that we want to continue doing, like keeping our taxes low, and that's going to be very important for citizens.
Thank you. And Mr. Sherlin, introduce yourself, please.
Yes, I'm Tom Sherlin. I'm a retired business man here in Amarillo. I've been here since 1973. Me and my wife have been married 47 years. I've had 2 sons, 6 grandchildren. I am wanting to run for the office due to the fact that I would like to be in on the coming of Amarillo into the future. I think we need some new ideas, new blood on the city council. We can't keep going with the same bunch that we've always had. It's time to make some changes. It's time to look at different ideas, different ways of doing things. And these are the things I would like to bring to the table. With my business experience, I think I can be a big asset to the people of Amarillo, bringing good common sense approach to the government. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, for the first question, please discuss public safety services in the city and your views on whether current funding levels are sufficient. Mr. Sherlin, I'll ask you to go first.
Okay, the funding levels for the city of Amarillo, I believe we fall short on funding on a lot of the issues. When you look at our budget needs to be updated. We need to live within our means, which I don't believe we've been doing for the last few years. Just due to the fact on many issues I have come across, I have been a board member of the 100 Club from Amarillo, for instance, and we had to go in and help buy a SWAT vehicle for the city because the city couldn't commit to buy it. These are the things that bother me. The city talks about going forth with other ideas and other issues toward this broadband internet, which I agree with. But in my opinion, we need to finish some of the projects we have now. We need to get with the program. We need to get the first responders the things they need to have. It shouldn't be up to citizens to raise money to buy equipment for the city.
Thank you, Mr. Sherlin. Mr. Sauer?
Thank you, Karen. I will tell you that currently right now, more than half of our budget does go to salaries for the first responders. That's a very important portion of our budget, and we need to make for sure that we are giving them everything that we can possibly give them. 2 years ago, we reauthorized another 16 police officers. We also added 2 companies of firefighters. We also authorized the addition of 3 animal control officers. Filling those positions may be a little bit more difficult just because of getting people into those positions and getting them interested in that. That will be the big thing. I would tell you that we're doing our very best to give them everything that we possibly can. We have never talked about defunding them. We've only talked about increasing the budget for them, and we would continue that forward.
Thank you. Next question. What actions, if any, do you believe are needed to address the economic impact to the city caused by the pandemic? Mr. Sauer, your time is now.
Okay. You know what? Here's the thing about the COVID and what it has done for our city. When we have come out from underneath that COVID, we have actually, from smart fiscal management, we were able to put back dollars because of all of the things that were happening and cut back in certain areas, so that when we have come out from COVID, we are not going back to the taxpayers and asking them to help us get that deficit taken care of. That deficit is not actually there. As a matter of fact, what it's done is it set us up so that we can actually move forward, and the money that is about to come in from the latest CARES Act is going to allow us to help small businesses and help move them forward. I think it's very critical that the way that we have come out, we're going to position ourselves so that the city can move forward great, so that we can be open and that we can help our small businesses flourish.
Thank you. Mr. Sherlin?
Yes, thank you. I would like to say, coming out of the pandemic, I believe the city, I looked at the money that we first got, and the I believe it was $24 million, if I'm correct. Excuse me. And I looked at the way the city spent that money. I disagree with a lot of the things that they did with that money. I believe some of that money could have been spent with the small businesses in Amarillo. They spent a very small portion of that on the small businesses. Most of that money was spent on the city itself, trying to overcome what they lost, I guess, at the airport, the city transit system, so on and so forth. We have got to look at the businesses in this town and take care of our small businesses. It always can't go to what we've got always done, big business downtown.
Thank you. Last question. What actions, if any, should the city take to improve the quality of life in Amarillo? Mr. Sherlin?
To improve the quality of life in Amarillo, we need to get the people out and amongst each other. It's like a lot of the towns in this state throughout. For instance, I'll use San Antonio as a great example. They have what they call Folk Life Festival in San Antonio, where they get all the different ethnic groups together for one long weekend, and you get all the ethnic groups. They come out, they cook their local food, they have their local music, and they have different demonstrations all through the day. If we did that in Amarillo, we would first of all learn our neighbors, and then we would bring people in from around the community. When I've been in San Antonio for that festival, you'll see upwards of hundreds of thousands of people today. To improve our community, we have got to invest in our community, and investing in our community means the whole community, not a 10-block area downtown. Thank you.
And Mr. Sauer?
So quality of life is very critical. It's very critical as we get younger people to come back to Amarillo. And Part of that is the fact that we are going through and doing a parks master plan. A lot of people are going to consider quality of life surrounding in our parks. We've never had a master plan before in the city of Amarillo, and that's being worked out so that we make for sure that all of the parks are being addressed, and so that we will have equipment that's in good condition going forward. Some of the other things that are very important about quality of life would be the arts and beautification. We've started the mural project, and we've seen that take off from 1 to over 24 pieces of art in the form of murals in town. We've also now started the beautification project, which will be on the Rails to Trails at 10th and at Western and Plains, and that's going to be a great addition. All of these things allow people to see how great Amarillo is, gives them the opportunity to be involved, and that's how we can increase the quality of life here in town.
Gentlemen, thank you for your time this evening and for participating in the forum. We turn now to Amarillo City Council Place 4. The race for that council place includes Sharon Delgado, Richard Herman, Ali Ramos, and Howard Smith. Ms. Delgado and Mr. Herman were not able to attend this evening, and so we have Ali Ramos and Howard Smith. I will ask each one of you to take a minute to introduce yourself, starting with Ms. Ramos.
Hi everyone, my name is Ali Ramos. I was born and raised, or I have been born and raised here in Amarillo, Texas. I am a licensed master social worker, and before that career, I was a graphic designer, so I have done many different things. Right now, I am a big disability advocate and a mental health advocate. My background, as you can tell, it has a lot to do with the social services profession. And I feel that with this experience, it would be very important to have in a city council type of setting so I can listen and be an authentic city council member.
Thank you very much. Mr. Smith?
Thank you very much for having us. I grew up in Amarillo since 1951. I attended Alice Lanigan Elementary, Wolfland Elementary, Austin Junior High, Amarillo High School, went to Butler University, got a bachelor's in math and physics. Then I changed and got an MBA. And then the draft was after me, but I avoided that by joining the Navy. I was in the Navy a little over 3 years. Got to be an officer there. Served on a ship in the Atlantic. Then got out of the Navy, came back to Amarillo, joined a family business for 10 years, clothing business. And then left that business, and I've been in real estate for 41 years. I've been very active in the community. I've served on the Wayland Board, Amarillo School Board.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Your first question, what do you believe are the two most pressing issues facing the city of Amarillo, and how would you address them? We'll start with Mr. Smith.
Well, one of them has been mentioned before, and that's the broadband business. There's a lot of people that cannot get on the internet. The school system set up 2 buses that would drive to a school, and that would serve as internet for the people. And it would go to another school. So everybody couldn't get on the internet. So I think that's very important. We found that out during COVID. It's not only important in Amarillo, but in the Panhandle, in the state of Texas. So that's a big problem. Now, second problem, I worked on it, and that's the public safety. We've put money into that, police department, fire department. It was lacking in numbers, but we've added to it.
Thank you. Ms. Ramos?
Yes, I would like to see a lot more diversity in city leaders of Amarillo. I feel that there are a lot of perspectives that are missing, and which, things are changing. Things are, I guess, just I feel like single member districts would be. I know that's a really hefty goal, but I feel like it would be a good time to start talking about it so that we do have more diversity. And um, another thing would be the streets in the different areas of Amarillo. I feel like the north and east sides are severely lacking in just care. So, hear that.
Okay, thank you. Next question. What steps should the city take to revitalize areas of Amarillo that are not experiencing growth, such as those neighborhoods to the north and east? We'll start with you, Ms. Ramos.
I think that partnering with different leaders in these areas would be a really good start. I know that I am not an expert in different professions, such as I'm not a business owner, but I am a social worker. So I feel like that, my strength is communicating with others and listening and, providing critical thinking to make sure that everyone, is able to benefit from these things. So as far as taking care of these issues, I think it would just be networking and talking to the people who live in these areas.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Smith.
Thank you. What I think we need to do, we gotta have a system in place with these neighborhood associations. We started in North Heights, the Barrio, San Jacinto, and now we just started in East Ridge. So we need to hear what those people want so that the city's not just saying we need to do this or whatever, but we need to see what they think needs to be done and listen to them. Money has been designated for each of these areas. And so we need to be sure that that money is used wisely to make things grow in the areas. And I think what I've heard, the various neighborhood associations, they all want to grow. And so they are, those people are asking the same thing. What do we need to do to grow? So the system's in place.
Thank you. Final question. Name one or more areas of service you believe the city is doing a good job in, and one or more areas where it needs to improve. Mr. Smith?
Well, this has been mentioned before, but the vaccination effort has been fantastic. I understand it's been maybe the best in the country. So that's been wonderful. An area that has needed help, and I've tried to work on this, and that's getting, I hear complaints about people getting permits, and we need to work on that, that when an inspector goes out to inspect something and they say you got to do this, this, and this, 3 things, and then they do those 3 things for 3 weeks, and then they come out for another inspection, they come up with additional things. So we need to work on that. And we got some Tyler software that is about to be in place that'll help with that.
Thank you. And Ms. Ramos?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Howard, because the vaccination clinic has really made me love Amarillo even more than I did, because it's, the main priority is keeping the citizens as safe as can be during this unprecedented time. And something that I feel like could be worked on would be the revitalization of the city parks in the north and east side as well. I think that if we were to provide a cleaner and safer public area, this would allow for recreation of families, and it would just help. You know, boredom isn't going to solve anything, and I think that if we have something to do, then that would just be really amazing for the communities here.
Thank you. And thank you both for your time and participation in this forum.
My name is Sharon Delgado, and I am running for place 4 on the City Commission. What made me want to do that, I'm a lifelong resident of Amarillo, so is my husband. We raised our 4 daughters here. We're very involved in Amarillo. What made me want to run is I'm about ready to retire from the school district. I have been a behavior counselor working with special needs kids. I think that the city council needs to be more diverse. We need to have mental health on the city council where we can look at programs for the homeless, addiction, and be able to fill in some gaps between them. I think mental health affects our community financially, and we need to be able to fill in some gaps through the community development. So that is my goal, is to work on just making sure that we have the resources for everyone here in Amarillo.
And now we turn to Canyon City Commissioner Place 5, the race for that office. We have with us the candidates for that office, Randy Ray and Zachary Unger. Thank you for being here. I'm going to start with introductions. Mr. Ray, you have the option of going first.
All right. Well, my name is Randy Ray. I am a city commissioner here in Canyon, Texas, one of the best cities in the world, I believe. I was raised in Panhandle, and I graduated from Pampa, came to school at WT, fell in love with Canyon. At that time, I graduated from WT, got married, and my wife and I moved to Nashville. And we lived in Nashville, Tennessee for 15 years. And that's when I got the opportunity to come back to Canyon. And I have worked at West Texas A&M for the last 20 years as a director of broadcast engineering. I also serve as an elder at Hillside Christian Church, and I've been a city commissioner for the last 2 years. So I'm very fortunate to live in a great community, and I'm very fortunate to work at a great place.
Well, thank you. And Mr. Unger.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Zachary Unger. I'm currently a college student finishing up my bachelor's degree at West Texas A&M University. I'm a devout Christian. I love Canyon. I love this community. The moment I came here, I was just in awe of everything. And the community, it's so tightly knit, and it's really a place for people to grow and grow as a person. I graduated from Lorena High School, and then I went to study on at Temple Community College, and then I transferred to here. And I'm running because I really want to create positive change within Canyon and really, really make a difference.
Thank you. Okay, first question. What should the city do to ensure long-term water resources for residents and businesses? Mr. Unger, the question goes to you.
Thank you. I think we need to work alongside with the people who oversee our water reserves and see what other different avenues that we can create, whether it be pipelines, what accesses that we can build to truly ensure that Canyon never loses water. We need to look into other places where we can get those types of avenues happening, and we can make sure that Canyon never runs out of water. Water is essential to everyone. No one wants to run out of water. And have clean, clear water is essential, and that should be one of our top priorities. The moment, whichever we need to work and help the people of Canyon have effective water.
Thank you. And Mr. Ray.
Well, I agree with Zachary. It does need to be one of our top priorities, and for the last 2 years that I've been on the commission, it has been that. I, along with the other commissioners and Mayor Henders, have worked with getting water rights. About 90% of all of our groundwater goes to irrigating. And that other 10% is not very much. So we have to be really proactive about getting water rights within an area. And it's got to be relatively close to Canyon because it gets pretty expensive to bring water in if it's, very, very far out. So we have done, like I say, we've really been proactive, and we've already been talking to several local landowners about getting water rights nearby. So it's something that we've thought a lot about, and it's something that we've worked a lot on.
Thank you. Next question. What would you like to see included in a strategic plan for downtown in Canyon? Mr. Ray?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. That's one of the things I'm most excited about that I've gotten to work on as city commissioner. I am on the committee for the downtown master plan, and we've already met one time. And in that meeting, we brought a lot of people from the community. We brought business owners and people that just live near downtown. And we just started asking people, what would you like to see change on our square, which I think our square is great to begin with. And some of the ideas that people have brought to the table is we would like to have maybe some more restaurants. We would like to have some kind of entertainment. And we've talked about widening the streets. We've talked about traffic flow. What we want in Canyon, Texas is to make our square a destination for people, not only in the Panhandle, but all over the state of Texas and nearby other states. We want Canyon to be a place people want to come. We think they already are, and we just want to make that even a little bit better.
And Mr. Unger?
Yes, I think that there's a big emphasis on downtown. I think we have a very key quintessential opportunity to really grow and make this a place where people do want to gravitate and come to. And the moment you enter downtown, you enter a whole new world. And I think that it's full of small business shops, from your local family mom and pop shops to shops that everyone knows. I think, but right now what we truly need to do though is we need to cut property taxes down. We need to cut regulation down. That way, not only can we help our businesses that have already been impacted from COVID and the weather, which it's changing all the time here, and really make it so that we can create a very suitable atmosphere so that existing business owners can grow and have more money in their pockets to grow their business, but also introduce more restaurants to come in. Because I don't know about you, but I like more food. And in order for that to happen, we have to gravitate more businesses. Without cutting taxes, it won't grow.
And final question goes to Mr. Unger. How could the city assist in diversifying Canyon's economy?
Well, for starters, one of the big revenues that we have coming in, as well as is right now, there's a huge mutualistic relationship between the university itself and the city of Canyon. Both have a big beneficial relationship to each other. Right now, you have college students, majority of the population that's making up of Canyon, and a attractive place to be for young people that is majority of the population here. Right now, they're getting their degrees and then they're leaving. And I think right now we need to do our best to retain college students. We need to look at what we're allocating our funds to, our spending, and see what we need to do to effectively grow Canyon. And I think that starts with evaluating what we have set and plan, and then seeing what improvements we can do in the future, because Canyon is the future and we have to work on making it a great community so that we can retain as many people as possible and grow our revenue.
Thank you. And Mr. Ray?
Well, again, I agree with Zachary. We need to retain the people that are already here in Canyon. But in addition to that, I think that we need to bring people in from outside of Canyon. And the way we do that, I think we need to capitalize on our tourism. There is a great big hole about 15 miles outside of Canyon that's called Panhandle Canyon. A lot of people come there, and we would like them to come into Canyon and spend money in our city. In addition to the Canyon, we also have a fantastic museum. We have Texas. We have more things to draw people in Canyon, Texas than probably any other town or city in the Panhandle. We just need to capitalize that even more than what we do. And the way we need to do that, I think we need to do a better job of communicating. And that's something that we're working on right now. We've just recently hired a communication director, and I'm really excited about that. Excited about getting the word out about how great of a community we are here in Canyon.
Thank you. And thank you for participating in today's forum.
Good evening. My name is Linda Vaughn, and I have the privilege to be the Director of Forums for the Amarillo League of Women Voters, as well as serving as Director on the board for the State of Texas League of Women Voters with diversity, equity, and inclusion and voter education. I would like to say first, thank you to each of our candidates, those who are participating with us live, and those who uploaded their videos. This took time, and for that, we are grateful. COVID has been a challenge to get out and mingle with people, but with the aid of our friends here at Panhandle Public Broadcast System, we've been able to continue the League's tradition of bringing the candidates to the people. So our heartfelt thanks goes out to the whole crew of Panhandle PBS, as well as our moderators, Jill Gibson, Leanne Overstreet, and Karen Welch. The Amarillo League works tirelessly to ensure that you can be informed and be an active participant in government through avenues like this forum and the publication of the nonpartisan Voters Guide, which has already been distributed to over 100 various locations across the Amarillo and Canyon areas. We do these things with funds that we get from League membership dues, as well as your kind donations. The Amarillo League of Women Voters has approximately 96 members, and we'd love to add your name to that list. The League of Women Voters of the United States and all the leagues work tirelessly to make sure that people are a strong political force. I know that you're asking yourself, how do I join? Well, there are several ways, and let me tell you. You can contact a league member and they will get you an application. I know that you know one of us, or you can look us up on our Facebook page. Be sure to like our page, Amarillo League of Women Voters. You may go to our website, my.lwv.org, and download an application and send it back via snail mail to Amarillo League of Women Voters, P.O. Box 19333, Amarillo, Texas 79114. You can contact the League at our phone number 806-337-2148, or you may email us at amarillolwv@gmail.com. Our membership dues are $65 a year, $97 for a couple living in the same household, $5 for students, and there is a scholarship fund set up for students who are not able to afford that. Now, I would be remiss if I did not say thank you to our president, Sonia Letson, and all the Amarillo League of Women Voter members who, for their hard work in making sure that you are aware of your voting rights and obligations, plus lobbying for those rights as we strive to give you concise information on all the elections so that you may stay informed. All of this is voluntary, and we love to do it so that people are educated on their rights. Again, we'd like to thank you for participating in our Candidates Forum.